Thank you for tuning in to No Fluff Sports. This is Javen. I'm here to discuss something that I am very passionate about, something that I have over 10 years of experience with, and that is working in the sports industry. I've interned with two NFL teams, both for undergrad and grad school, and I also worked for two NBA teams as a full-time employee. So I was on the sports sales side, so I was more on the sales marketing. I did an internship more on the NFL youth side of things, so we were doing more of like community investment, different things like that. That was my first internship. My second internship was sales and marketing and a little bit of sponsorship. We were dealing with high end clients, season ticket holders, suite holders, different things like that. Basically, spoiling them, making sure they have everything they need, whatever it may be. So you learn a lot about working with different people, talking to different people. You learn how to talk to people that don't have as much money. You learn how to talk to people with a lot of money. So it definitely was beneficial for me and my growth as a professional. But I got a lot of experience in sales. I was an inside sales rep for an NBA team. I did that for like a year and some change, and then from there I transitioned to another NBA team where I was an account executive for 7 years. So basically, we were selling full menu from suites, season tickets, mini plans, group tickets for different churches or schools or whatever it may be. Basically, like my manager would say, put butts in seats. So that was what I focused on. So it was a lot of cold calling, a lot of meetings. It was just a sales job. It was a sales grind. So, but when I got into it, let's put it like this. When I first expressed interest in getting into sports, I wanted to get more on the operations side of things. I come from a small town. I was the only person from my hometown to ever do anything like this. So I didn't really have that much guidance. I knew that this is what I wanted to do, but I really didn't know how to maneuver, and I really didn't have a network of people that could really assist me that had experience themselves. I did have a few people, but not anybody that was in the operations side, like the day-to-day basketball, football, hockey operations, whatever it may be. So I really kind of had to wing it and learn on the fly, which I benefited from long term, because you just learn how to just find your own way, But I want to make this video to help kids and students with this dream, but how to maneuver it the right way and not make the same mistakes that I did. And kind of just prepare yourself for how this industry works, how it's laid out, just everything that a lot of times they're not going to tell you. First off, it was a great experience. I met a lot of people. My network has grown it's been very prosperous for me long term. I have friends in all different type of cities and doing different things. Some still in sports, some not in sports. I still communicate with some of my managers, on a regular basis. So I've built a lot of good relationships. Even some clients I still communicate with. I'm currently not in sports now, but I still maintain those relationships because you never know, where it might lead you or who you can benefit, who you can help throughout this journey. So basically, I want to be here to be a resource to anybody that says that they want to do this type of things but don't really know how to go about it. So I want to talk about the pathway into coaching and scouting. And I want to start there because that's what everybody sees on TV. Everybody wants to be a GM. Everybody wants to be a personnel director. Everybody wants to know the players and get close to the players. And that's what I wanted to do. That was my main goal when I first got into the industry because I think I have a very solid knowledge of the game. And I understand people. But you hear the cliche all the time in the workforce of get your foot in the door, or who do you know, all this type of stuff. Okay, so that may work in certain industries, but you have to think about this industry different because it's so crowded. Everybody wants to be a part of it. I'm not gonna say you're part of the 1%, but it's a low percent of people that actually get an opportunity because let's just say the NBA is 32 teams, I believe. So the job opportunities are limited, and when people get into this industry, a lot of times they keep those jobs. So it's not a lot of openings all the time, and you just have to keep that in mind. Not saying that it can't be done because it can be, but you have to. There's a way that you have to go about it. So if you want to get into coaching and or scouting or anything personnel wise in any sport, what I recommend based on what I've seen and people come and go, you have to start in college. And when I say you have to start in college, is you have to find a way to volunteer or work with your college soccer teams, football team, whatever sport you want to focus on. You have to find a way to get into that building, whether it's some type of, if you're working for free, if you're some type of volunteer, you can give them 3 days out of the week or whatever it may be. You may work in equipment, you may work in whatever. And the reason why I say that is because that's how you're going to build your network. That's where you're going to meet people who can refer you to these positions that you're interested in. I'm just being honest with you. There are no coaching jobs that you can apply for online. There are no scouting jobs you can apply for online. There are no general manager jobs posted online. You have to know somebody. And one of my probably my favorite manager I had, he said something that I carry with me to this day. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And I basically took from that is I know a lot of people, but do they know me on a first name basis? Do they know my wife? Do they know my child? Do they know my mom, my dad, my cousin, aunt, uncle? That person has to know you, and because when you refer somebody, that's a representation on them. So that's something that I carry to this day professionally. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. So you have to build that relationship. You have to build that trust with those coaches on the staff at your schools. Even on the high school level. You can start on the high school level. Even if you're not a good player, find a way to be around the game. I don't care if you're taping film, you're stat keeping, traveling with a team. You need to be around these coaches because because sports is a big fraternity. And everybody kind of knows everybody, or they have a connection with somebody. And what happens is, hey, so, they may get a call and say, hey, I'm looking for an equipment guy. Do you know anybody? Or the coach that you know may say, hey, I got this guy or this girl or this lady, I should say, who he or she is sharp. I think you'll really like this person. I don't know if you have anything, but just keep this person in mind. That's how you get in. And if you also, I talked about high school and college. In college, and I want everybody who watching this video to go do their research. If you look at every coach, or I wouldn't say every coach, 80 or 90% of the coaches that are coaching right now are scouts or GMs. If you go to their Wikipedias or whatever it may be, most of the time their first position is a graduate assistant. So let me give you a breakdown of how graduate assistant works. Excuse me. Okay, so basically this is post-grad opportunities. Excuse me. So after you graduate college, and I still want you to find a way to get in with your sports team on campus. But after that, You want to, and that networking that you have done can possibly generate into this opportunity. If you go to grad school, you need to target schools that have GA, graduate assistants, also known as GA positions, in the sport that you want to specialize in. I went to grad school with a guy who was a baseball player at the school that we went to. He built a relationship with the coach. They already knew who he was. Of course, they recruited him, whatever it may be. And he was in my grad courses, and he was with not football. He was with the baseball team. So he was a grad assistant. I believe he's coaching to this day. So that's how you get those jobs. I didn't know that. I didn't have anybody to break that down to me or had the resources to know that. That's how you start. You have to start by building the relationships on the high school level with your coaches and staff, doing the same thing in college, undergrad, and only apply to schools for grad school that have graduate positions open. So you need to call and email these coaches or these athletic departments and express interest in that, and you already know that there's an opportunity there for you potentially. That's how you get in, because like I said earlier, this is a big fraternity. Everybody knows everybody, especially on that side of the business. It's a very exclusive side, while you're looking at these different coaches and scouts and GMs resumes or coaching history, whatever it may be, they bounce around a lot. That's the non-sexy side of the business, but the positive of that is you bouncing around, you're meeting more people. You're building, these coaches and stuff are building relationships with the offensive line coach and the running back coach and the defensive coach. And these people move around so much to where you never know where it may come full circle. So that is the best advice that I can give anybody that wants to do that. It's going to be a grind, but I'd rather you grind in something that is going to lead you to where you want to get to. So it'll make it worthwhile. Now, I'm going to break down how to get on the business side. And when I say business side, I'm talking about ticket sales, sponsorships, operations, like how, the game flows and the behind the scenes things, PR, media, marketing, IT. I think a lot of people have this image of sports just being what you see on TV. But what I want people to understand is these sports organizations are set up just like every other corporate job. We have an IT department. We have sponsorships, marketing, sales, HR, DEI. Everything that every other corporation has, we have it. And a lot of people, when I was in the business, they would come up to me and, they want to say, I want to work in sports. I want to work in sports. Okay, that's nice. That's cool. But what do you want to do in sports? Because if you meet somebody who's a decision maker in the industry, that's what they're going to ask you. And if you don't have an answer, they're not going to give you that much time, because I'll be honest with you, these sports organizations are very cocky. And the reason why I say that is because they know everybody who wants to be a part of it. They get thousands of resumes every day. Every day. So they don't have time to be dealing with somebody who doesn't understand the structure and how it works. One of the worst things you can do, the quickest way to get your resume thrown in a trash can, is going to, let's just say you're interviewing for a marketing coordinator position. And you go in there talking about, I want to be a GM. They're going to end the interview very quick, and you're not going to get the job or the internship or whatever you're applying for. You have to know what you're applying for and how you can benefit this department. It's a very tough industry to get into, so it's kind of like you have to seize the moment when it's there. If they give you an opportunity, you have to be ready for it. Do your research. Do your research on the people that's interviewing you. Find articles on that department or any success stories, and connect your experience or your expertise to that. And you have to make yourself stand out, because there are thousands of applicants. So you want to understand. I know everybody wants to be around the players and stuff like that. That's the sexy part of the business. But that opportunity isn't for everybody. If you're a good salesperson, look into sports sales. It's a different type of sale because you're selling a luxury. You're selling something that people really don't need. But if you're a good salesperson, you have to find ways for them to understand where this can benefit them. And on a personal level, it may benefit their relationship with their children that are interested in the game. It may be a date night for their spouse or their girlfriends or boyfriends. Or I got plenty of sales from people buying gifts for Christmas or birthdays or just different things like that. Rewarding their kids for a good report card or whatever. So you have to find ways to where this experience, you're selling experiences, not tickets. You're selling an experience. So you have to find what they're missing and what they're trying to accomplish, and use your expertise of how to connect the two to each other to make it make sense. And most importantly, you have to understand with businesses, you have to your breadwinner is going to be selling to business, and you need to find out. You can't be afraid of asking, "Hey, what are your goals for your business this year? What are you trying to accomplish? How often do you take your clients out or prospective clients out? How often do you reward your employees?" Different things like that. So you have to make it seem, you have to connect it to where they will see a benefit from it on a business side, and even on sponsorships. We can get some branding done for your company if you commit to a sponsorship for a 2-year deal at this price. So I wasn't in sponsorships, but I know the basics of it. You just have to find ways to make it make sense for them, make it make sense for them to accomplish the goals, and most importantly, it's all about ROI, return on investment. That's what business is about. The businesses stay booming when you make money. It's about making money. So how can this benefit me financially? How can I use this as a tax write-off? You just have to ask the right questions, and it's not about you. It's about them and what they're trying to accomplish. Yes, it may be a big sale, but don't get caught up on the numbers. How can I make this make sense for this client? So that's my advice if you want to get on the business side. And that's my advice on how these organizations are structured. Like I said, we have every department that every other corporation has. You just need to do your research and make sure that this is what you want to do. Now, I do want to share something that I learned from my internship. I think it was the second internship I had in the NFL. And this guy, I think he was the president of the team at the time. Different people of the organization would come talk to us every week, and they want to learn what we're about, what school we went to, why we're here, what we majored in, whatever it may be, what our goals are. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, your internship is to find out what you don't want to do, not what you want to do. And a lot of times I did notice that as I continued to grow in the business, a lot of times people ended up getting a full-time position in sports, but not particularly in the department that they interned in. The internships are great because it gives you free range to connect with other departments, and there's no penalty behind it. It's not frowned upon. They actually want you to do that. So I use myself for example. I was in sales and marketing for this internship that I'm speaking about, and sales, marketing, and suites and stuff like that. And I went on some shadowing with the community investment department, where players would go out in the community and pass out different things or make appearances or whatever it may be. And that way I got to see how that looks. what the day-to-day looks like on that side of the business. I mean, one time I went to a school outing where a player popped up at a school, and it allows you to see how every department operates. I used to shadow some of the guys in the IT department. I built relationships with those guys. It's just a way to build your rapport, and also build your network, like I was saying earlier. So don't be afraid to apply for internships, even if you don't know exactly what you want to do. I mean, you still need to have some type of idea, but internships, that's what they're for. It's to grow, to understand the structure, to understand how each department operates, just to understand how the company or the organization operates as a whole. So the last tip that I want to give you all is, you may say, well, how do I apply for these positions? Well, I already spoke about coaching, scouting, personnel. Those aren't online. Those are all network and who knows you. I'm just being honest. That's just how that is. Now, internships and sales jobs and marketing jobs, those are online. You need to go to a website called Teamwork Online. All one word. Teamworkonline.com. That's where every sports organization posts their jobs. Internships and jobs, and also networking events when they have career fairs are there too. So what you need to do is build your profile just like any other career website. You upload your resume, cover letter, all your basic information. So it saves it, and you'll get notifications, and emails for any openings that you may be interested in. I haven't been on there in a while, but when I was using it, you can filter out what industry you're interested in, what sports leagues you're interested in. I think you can even pick like states and cities that you're interested in, or whatever it may be. So you can pick, hey, if I want to do full-time, internship, whatever it may be. That is your best friend. That's where the jobs are. Don't go out here paying for these different websites that say that they can do stuff for you. Teamworkonline.com. That's all you need. Just go on there and apply. It's a grind. I was blessed to find an internship opportunity through that. I didn't have a cosign. I didn't have a professor to lead me in this direction or vouch for me. I had to do it myself. And it was getting to a point where I needed an internship to graduate. And I may have gotten a call like a few months before the deadline. And it worked out, and I just was persistent and consistent. And that's just what it's going to take. I don't know I can't sit up here and say what separated me from everybody else, because that was a while ago. But when they called me, I was ready. I did a good job in the interviews. I was flexible. I was willing to relocate because I just wanted to get my foot in the door, and I wanted opportunity. I took advantage of it. And like I said, I needed an internship to graduate. I wanted to intern in a field that I wanted to work in. I just didn't want to get an internship just to get one and just to graduate. I wanted to make it make sense for my future, and it worked out. And that's what I had to do. And I know I said that was the last point, but something else came to my mind. Sports. You have to be flexible. You have to understand that you're gonna work on weekends. You're gonna have to work some holidays. As a consumer, we sit back and watch them on Christmas play, but you don't realize people are working. So you have to understand that when they play, you work. Well, at least home games. Now, if you're on the personnel side or the operation side, you're traveling with the team, so you're working away games and home games. But you have to understand that it doesn't stop. And you have to be willing to put in the grind, put in the hours, put in the work. And you have to also understand that when I stated earlier about the jobs are limited and people keep their jobs and stuff like that, a lot of time to advance in this industry, you have to be willing to relocate. So it's really a young, single person's industry. I'm just being honest. As you become in your 30s and 40s and 50s or whatever it may be, you have a family. You don't want to be moving your kids and your wife all over unless it's just opportunity you can't pass up. But you need to know that that's what these jobs entail, and your family or your loved ones, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever around you needs to understand that. A lot of times to advance, you have to move. I've lived in Miami. I've lived in Kansas City. I've lived in Memphis. I've lived in Dallas. And this is not even including where I went to school. I went to school in Tallahassee, and I went to grad school in Louisiana. So, but I was doing all this in my early 20s. I didn't have any children. I wasn't married. I didn't have anything tying me down, and I had parents. I was blessed to have parents that always encouraged me to shoot for the stars and fly. They never held me back, and that was a blessing. I know a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have responsibilities that I just didn't have at that time, so I was able to do that. But just keep that in mind, that is how the business is structured. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I get to them as fast as I can. But this is something that I really am passionate about because I didn't have it. And I want to be a resource to other people that want to follow their dreams like I did. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And good luck to you.